Good morning. It's Sunday setup time. I'm Clayton Allen. I'm the host of the Day Trading Plumber and founder of AllenFx. Every Sunday, if you haven't seen this before, every Sunday I go through all of the pairs that I trade, Forex pairs, and I look for support and resistance on a daily time frame. Doesn't necessarily mean I take trades exactly when price gets there, but it gives me a good reference point on some smaller time frames of places where I want to be bullish or bearish. And if price is in between those two areas, I tend to use smaller time frame indications of a continuation of a trend or a pullback type situation. So if you got any questions or comments, throw them into the comments section. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe here. And if you have any friends or family or anyone else you think might be interested in Forex, give them my name. I have a podcast. I have this channel. I also do very well on TradingView if they want to jump on there and catch all my ideas. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into the charts and see what we got cooking this week. So let's start with the Canadian pairs or the Australian pairs. All right. So let's see what price did last week. All right, so we are here on the daily, and I can see price shot up into, let me kind of zoom in here. There we go. Price shot up into this bearish zone we have plotted and almost instantly started to retract. What I got here, this little green line, is if I jump down to a smaller time frame, just give you a look, we have divergence posting, and a safer bet would be a break of this trend line, or taking a trade from this bearish area. It's a little riskier to catch it at the top. That's where I generally try to take them. We got divergence on a 4-hour. So, on today's open, we're going to really be looking at this pair and seeing if a sell trade, hold on, if a sell trade from up here is going to work out for this week. And again, when I'm looking at the daily, I'm looking at what price is probable of doing for the week. And if I was to actually be setting this trade up, what I might do is pull a Fibonacci on this impulse leg. And if I'm going to sell from this area, I might set my take profit at the 0.5 or 0.618. So that's a really good profit target. And just to give you guys a quick snapshot of kind of what I do. And of course, if you want to catch my trades in real time and copy my signals, I have some Telegram groups that I'll have the links in the body of this video. I also do a auto copy where if you just want to set up a broker account, have it automatically copy my trades directly onto your account where you don't have to do anything but watch. I also have that service too. So shoot me a note if you're interested in that, and I will get you the right information. All right, no more BS. Now I do want to put a little disclaimer this week. With the holiday season, a lot of banks are on holiday. Spreads are going to be big. Swap's going to be big this week. I think we actually got charged swap for the whole week on our JPY pairs already. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of heavy trading this week. I am going to keep my eyes on the markets and the charts. But nonetheless, if you want to take some risks this week, go right ahead. So Australian dollar, Canadian dollar looks like a good sell here. Doesn't quite look like we missed the boat, but we could have had a really good entry there. But I like this pair, somewhere halfway of this consolidation range. And I'm going to keep this thing red so I know to watch it. Australian dollar, Swiss franc. Okay, so let's get a little bit closer look here. So we had price kind of turn around and stall out here before. That's really the only turnaround. And then now, we kind of predicted this up. You could see where we looked for that trend line break, and we got it. And then If you went long last week, you had a really good trade. So now, I think we might have our bearish zone a little too. I mean, that still works mostly because you got the tops there, right? See these tops here? We had a turn in that zone. It looks like price kind of stalled out in that area. So now, is price going to stay respecting? So what I'm going to do on this pair is if I get a break of this high, I'll get bullish here. But now that we dropped in here, but it pulled all the way down, it's pulled up. So if we jump to a smaller time frame, you might see we're starting to get this downward choppy type downward trend. So nothing too big on this pair. It's making me want to jump right in and get excited. But although we are in our bearish zone and price does look like it is respecting, so might be short on this pair this week. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. So what's really funny to me is the dollar's been struggling. It's been taking a beating because of some maybe it overpriced itself on the China, phase 1 US-China trade deal. So there's been a lot of people leaving the dollar and devaluing it. And typically when that happens, people run to safe havens like the JPY. So it's really interesting to me that the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar are getting a lot stronger as the US dollar weakens, but the JPY is not, because typically the Japanese yen is the second safe haven currency if the dollar is shaky. So it's a really interesting twist here at the end of the year. But I don't think that's going to last very long. Maybe this pair, the Australian dollar, will outpace the JPY. But I think on some other JPY pairs, we're going to see the JPY get a little bit stronger here if the dollar continues to weaken. So on this pair, we were kind of targeting the top here. Well, we have a good break. So what do we do when we have this situation? Our bearish zone now becomes bullish. And we just throw this thing up here because now we want to be bullish this pair. We have a good continuation of a trend. I'm going to look for a pullback to this area and get bullish again. Maybe even like that area. Because remember what I tell you guys, on these big spikes, these big wicks, especially with Australian dollar pairs, these big wicks are really important levels. I mean, if we kind of look back, you see where this flash crash was last January? It flash crashed, dead stopped here. I remember this very well. And then it basically shut down my broker. And my broker reopened when price was already up here. So this happened all in like 5 minutes. So you see where that level of that giant flash crash is? Look right where price ended up getting back to the rest of the year and turning. So that is a very important level. So on a smaller scale, that's an important level. So I'm guessing we're going to get a good pullback to that level. And if we throw a Fibonacci impulse or retracement tool on this impulse leg, look right where that level is. It's the 0.38 fib level. So if we get a pullback to that level, I'm going to be bullish there. Oop, moving the wrong thing here. I'm going to be bullish here, especially because Australian dollar is getting stronger. So that is what I'm doing on this pair. I'm going to turn it red so I can... Actually, you know what? I'm going to put an alert there. 75963. Those of you that use alerts, 75963. Okay. And then I like to put in the notes here, looking to buy, just so if I'm out and about and get this alert, I quickly know what I was looking for. Obviously, I'm going to look at the chart and quickly realize what I was looking at, but you never know. Okay, let's look at Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. All right, so we are at a very tricky spot. So you can see on the daily here, I kind of drew this support line, and we've been kind of watching this pair drop its pants, this whole, for quite some time. And, you know, we still have, the price is still kind of really respecting this area. And if we kind of zoom in here, excuse me, price just can't seem to get below this level. Now, that doesn't mean we won't get a giant break of this level. And, you know, structure-wise, this bearish move. But I'm starting to guess that it just doesn't want to get below this level. We had a break here, a false breakout here before. So I'm still bullish in this area, but I'm being very cautious. And on a week like this week, I don't know if we're going to get much pressure either way. If the bears are going to bust this level, and then we have, you know, again, look at where that flash crash was. So if we get a bust to this level, we have TP1 here. That's a good spot, and TP2. But we may just get a bounce and a consolidation between these two zones for quite a while, at least till we get out of the holiday season and we get some more traders at their trading desk. But this pair, I'm still bullish in this area. Those of you that scalp trades, maybe if you get a dip down here and you're pretty confident we're not going to have a lot of pressure either way, you could get some really small scalp trades and, you know, catch a few pips here or there. Australian dollar, US dollar. Like I said, the US dollar weakened pretty heavily last week. Australian dollar strengthened, so it's no surprise this pair is just a rocket ship. But whenever I see this type of bullish move, I'm looking for a good pullback. So we broke that resistance level. So let's get our bearish zone up and out of our way here. Because I'm not bearish on that. Now, what I will tell you is I'm going to be bullish if we get a pullback to this area. Let me jump up to a weekly. Jeez, I don't know what is going on with me in these charts. So, to find a good bearish spot, I like this. This is an area that I'm going to want to see what price does. Now, remember, if we, God, I'm having trouble with my charts today. We're in this downward trend, right? If I draw a trend line on the top price here, like you're supposed to, right? Look at that break. So we've had a downward trend for quite some time here, and last week we broke that trend. So and of course this is the weekly time frame, so that is a big deal. So what we're going to want to look for is a pullback, a retest of this, and, you know, off to the run we go. However, you got to remember you're betting against the US dollar, and fundamentally the US dollar tends to not be weak very long. We're hitting RSI, 70 on RSI, overbought situation. So some of you, like me, look for a good spot, a pullback, and, you know, a little bit safer bet is to be bullish once you get this pullback. But I like to, you know, get pullbacks and take advantage of some pips when we start to see situations like this. Now, if I see divergence post on the daily, that's going to be a really big trigger. If we jump down to the hourly, yes, we're already starting to see divergence. This red line tells me it's overbought on more than 5 time frames. One of my favorite indicators, the Palladino RSI 5. Yeah, so I'm you could play this two ways. Catch this. Let's turn on our pivot. We blew past R2. I mean, price is just looking for a pullback. You got to be really careful trying to predict these pullbacks, but all the signs are there real soon. If it pulls back, look for a buy somewhere in this where it retests this line. It could come all the way back down and test this trend line we had on the daily and the weekly. So, yeah, trade at your own risk. Again, remember, at least how I feel in the holiday season, it's pretty risky to trade this week between Christmas and New Year's. There's a lot of banks taking breaks. There's a lot of traders taking breaks. And you could get some really sporadic moves because of low volume and low liquidity in the markets. So be careful. Okay, I'm loving this pair right now because it's being very technically obedient. And what I mean by that is we have a really strong support and a really strong resistance, and price is pretty much respecting it quite nicely. So on the daily here, if we count down last week, right, if you were on your game last week, price touched bearish on Thursday, and then Friday came all the way back down to bullish, and then now it's starting to retrace. But on Wednesday, if you grabbed it here on Monday, you sold it, boom, and then back up and back down. You could have been playing tennis trades with this pair the last 2 weeks and done very well. So what this is telling me is there enough bullish or bearish pressure to break one of these levels? I'm personally going to wait on this pair and wait for a break either up or down of this channel. And when we do get a break, we're going to have a good run either way. Those of you that are scalpers, or smaller intraday on the hourly here, you can see it was a really good buy here, really good sell here, really good buy now. And is price going to keep going back up, retest? That's a pretty good trade. If I measure it out, if you were to get in, let's say you got in on the top break of that top, and it's 40 pips. It's not a bad trade. So, yeah, this is a good pair to look at. I'm going to turn it red because I want to watch it. All right, let's go back to the daily on here. So we had this downward trending channel. We had a break. We had a retest. That's why we're bullish here. And price has just broke that resistance. So I'm not bearish till up to this region. And why I chose that is this tops. And I might just move my bullish line there now because we had a break and now we've retested and now price is just sitting there. Fundamentally, we only have one thing coming out, a PMI for Canadian dollar this week. So again, it's really tough, but this is where I have my zones. And some of you that really just want to trade this pair in this week, you might want to get bullish if price comes back down here, or is this a false breakout and you get another drop down to this area? I'm not going to leave this one red. And again, with my theory with the JPY, it might just catch wind and get really strong here at the end of the year because of the weakness in the dollar. Okay, so again, Swiss franc JPY, break of this resistance tells me now we're not bearish till up here. We have a bullish area where it used to be bearish. And now if we get a pullback to this zone, be a good place to get bullish. But the JPY is a safe haven currency. So is the Swiss franc. But is the JPY going to catch some strength for some of you fundamental traders out there? Sorry. Take a quick drink. Australian dollar, euro, or euro Australian dollar. All right, so we've been kind of eyeballing this wedge pattern. And then, boom, last week we got a break. And then you can see on one of my trading view ideas midweek, I posted this level as bullish really quick intra-week. And you can see price came down, got in there, and then shot all the way up. Didn't quite retest yet. But that may be all you get. So is price going to break this level? And if it does, here's how I'm seeing the market now. Let's get our bullish zone out of there. We had that retest right in this area. So let me get rid of these arrows. And I kind of want to be bearish now. If we get this retest, price sitting here, if it comes back up to this level right there, I might be looking for a sell trade because we had this wedge pattern. Price just kind of, and again, Australian dollar got super strong as the dollar weakness. So we may get a good drop now that this structure break of that wedge. Now, if we continue this trend line, kind of across these bottoms, you can start to see we might have a pretty good indication now. We're going to get a good drop. Who knows? That's the fun part about trading, right? But we're eyes are keened on it right now. And if we do, this is going to be one we want to catch. I'm going to turn that one red. Euro, Swiss franc. Again, a very technically obedient pair we got going on here. We have a good bearish zone way up here. Price got into our bullish zone last week. Might still be a really good buy up to these levels, or at least halfway to our bearish zone. I'm going to turn this one, the Euro Swiss franc red. EURJPY. All right, so this was a very strong support level we called out, and hopefully some of you jumped on that trade. If you guys are in my Telegram channels, we definitely took a trade here, but I mishandled the trade and closed it too early and didn't quite capitalize on this move. But we had a touch here, springboard back up to this area, and I'm kind of thinking we're more bearish here now. And I would love a good, I'm bearish at least back down to this level. And if we get a break at this level, look at where price can go. Whew. It's got quite a bit of room. But I kind of like this pair short down to this bullish area, or at least halfway, as a good quick trade. And then if we get a break above this bearish level here, we have some good levels up here for take profits. So this is a good pair to watch. Again, this week might be a little wrong, but for the first quarter of the year, this would be a good pair to watch because this level is a very strong support. So if price finds its way back down to this area, I'm a buyer, and then I'm going to be really cautious of a break that level and quickly switch to be a seller here. I'm going to turn this one red because I want to watch it this week of what it's doing from this bearish zone. Okay, EUROJPY. Okay, so we had a break of this resistance, a retest, and now price is shooting back up. So let's take our bearish out of the way. Let's put our bullish right there. And if price comes back down into this region, we're going to get bullish. Another thing to be looking at is this going to end up being a double top right here at this resistance level? And if it is, we might get bearish on this double top. However, That's a very predictive move and can end very badly for you. So what you're going to want to see is a true double top and a consolidation range, and then you might be able to play this consolidation range till you get a break of one of these levels. I mean, structure wise, this pair has been in a downward. We had a lot of divergence, and now we're starting to see a upward trend happen, but we didn't quite get a retest of this trend here. So is it topping out? We have some good resistance points here, so this is a good one to watch. It's really not a good play right now until if you get another break of this area, then that would be where we get bullish. EURONZD. Okay, so I want to check this out. We had this good consolidation range for a while. We had a break of it here. Then, we had a couple tests to our bearish zone here, and it's just continued to be bearish. Now we're starting to see divergence on the daily, and that tells us a strong probability of a turnaround. We have a double bottom on RSI. This is a really good area of a turnaround coming, so I will be watching what price does when it gets to this zone. And of course, you always have to be careful of a break low of a new level. NZD and Australian dollar got really strong on the dollar weakness, but is that run over? Who knows? But I'm going to get bullish into this support zone here, and I like how that distance. If we pull a fib on this impulse leg, you're starting to get this bullish candle. So on today's open here, and we'll see what price does. If it breaks below that low, we have a really good play. It's going to come down in this bullish zone. We may be at the end of this bearish zone, and we're going to get a good pullback. A really good play is if this price breaks above the 0.23, you have a very, very high probability that price will continue to the 0.38 or the 0.5, and this would be a good area to get bearish again if we do get a pullback, and we're going to want to see a continuation. So you get bearish here back to a TP of this bullish. If we get a continuation of down into this bullish area, we look for a smaller time frame turnaround, and then your take profit could be these fib levels for a pullback, or all the way back up here. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but this is kind of what I look for. And with this divergence posting on this daily, it's a really good indication that we're going to get either a turnaround point like we did here, or a really strong pullback to one of these fib levels. That's just how I see the markets, and if you guys have some other comments, throw them in the comments section. But I like this pair. We're going to turn it red. Euro US dollar. All right, so about midweek last week, we had a call out where we want to be bearish here. Price shot up, and you can see where it's sitting right now. Shot a little bit above our bearish zone, not much, and then has started to pull back. So if we put a Fibonacci on this impulse leg, get that out of the way. So we're kind of looking for a pullback to the 0.5, possibly the 0.618. So riskier trade, getting bearish here and playing this pullback, not a bad idea. You just got to be careful of this level, because it may get bullish right off a retest of this former resistance, new support, and you get another spring. So I'm not necessarily bullish this pair until we see what this pullback. Now, if you play this short, playing the pullback, a little bit safer would be if you get a bounce on this fib level. Let's say you don't short it here. But you wait for price to come down and gets into this fib level and you see a good bounce, this would be a good place to be a trend trader and continue that trend and get bullish. All right, let's look at British pound, Australian dollar. All right, so the British pound's kind of been a tricky pair. It got bullish here, been in this bullish channel, big break of that channel, a big retest. Now, we're kind of looking. I had our bullish area here, didn't quite get there, but now we're starting to see some bullish confirmation, but it just can't seem to get enough steam behind it to really continue this trend. But if we extended that trend line out, now you can kind of see this was that election time area, and then Boris kind of getting shaky with the Brexit, getting extended. So you had this. So now we're kind of seeing a good support level here. Is it going to break this trend or that resistance level we had there? It already broke it. So what I'm going to look for is price might come back up into this bearish area and retest, and then we get bearish again. So I'm kind of on hold on this pair till I kind of see what if I was anything, I'd be bullish up to this area or at least halfway. But we had already peaked out last week and hit that area, and it kind of pulled back down. British pound, Canadian dollar, kind of the same look. All of these pairs are going to kind of look the same. I'm going to kind of try to stay away from them. Now in my auto copy account, myself and some of my clients, Wally got in a bunch of sell trades down here, and we've been kind of trying to fight out some positions. So biasly, I hope we just get a retest at a break of this level, so then I can play some sell trades to get out of some current positions. But obviously, if we break above this level-ish here, I want to be bearish here. But if we get a break of that, I'm probably going to have to close those trades for a little bit of loss and move on and get back on the horse and make our money back. British pound, JPY, almost the exact same, except for the JPY's weakness, kind of showing a little bit more here on this pair. Again, I'm bullish if it dips down here. I'm not bearish till this region. So this is a holding pattern pair for me. British pound, New Zealand dollar. All right, so those of you that are technical traders may have got trapped in this one because the British pound's been bullish. You had this bullish impulse leg. You had this perfect bullish flag pattern. This tricked you, made you think you had a break of it, and I'm sure a lot of people got long here pretty hard, and then hopefully they took their profit. But if they were looking for a bigger move, which most people would be, may have got stuck in this. Then they may have held this trade all the way to retest this area, and then they got a depressing break of that flag pattern, bearish, and either took a big loss or still holding on to it and looking at this area. So I'm bullish in this area. Price has turned here before. It's flirting with it here. I'm bearish if it comes up and retests this flag. And, right now I'm looking for price to come down, retest this. I'll get bullish. I'd really bullish this pair. However, the New Zealand dollar's just been kicking everyone's ass off the dollar weakness. Not a good time to get in a sell trade if you're heavily bearish this pair, because RSI on the daily doesn't show. But if you get a pullback up and you get a retest of this former support of that flag, good time to get bearish. And we have some good resistance levels here. So that's the fun part, is being patient and waiting for price to tell you what it wants to do, and not jumping right in and getting in trouble. So this one, I'm going to turn orange. British pound, US dollar. Okay. So we currently are in a dollar weakness cycle. So that's what this push was last week. However, was a really good area to be bullish because we had this bullish push, this retracement, almost back down to this former resistance, and now you can kind of see prices definitely respected that former resistance as support, and now is almost halfway back up. So if you jumped into this buy trade here, you had a good week last week, you may have already taken your profit or still in it. I'm not necessarily bearish this pair till we get up here. We still have divergence here from that big impulse. We're middle of RSI, so price could just retrace all the way back up to this bearish level. That's where I'll be looking for a sell trade. If we drop down to a smaller time frame, not a good time to get bullish quite yet. If we pull a Fibonacci on that impulse leg, it has broke to the 0.23. My guess is it's probably going to come back down to the 0.5, possibly the 1.6 or the 0.618, and then we'll get a bounce. That'd be a good place to get bullish if you want to continue this trend, or at least the 0.38 here on the hourly chart because of it breaking this 0.23. All right. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. All right, so we had a break of this resistance. Let's take our bearish zone all the way up to that next resistance level on the chart. I'm bullish here. If we get a pullback to this area, I will get bullish, and I'll go ahead and draw some arrows. So those of you, boom, that's what I'm looking for. And if we get a break of this level, we got all the way up to here. So again, New Zealand dollar's been on a rip-roaring, crushing everyone, and it may just continue. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, kind of the exact same thing. However, we're not so bullish there, and maybe we're already in that pullback, that retest, and might just launch from here. You can see I was completely wrong last week with this turnaround point, but now that we had a break of that resistance, we didn't break that one. So a little riskier on this pair because the Swiss franc is also getting stronger, so that's why you don't have quite the same bullish movement on the other New Zealand dollar pairs. But this is a good place to look for that retest and another push up to this level. New Zealand dollar, JPY. All right, so we're identifying this resistance level, and as you can see, we've broke it. So now, we got this level to be looking at, and now what our former bearish area is now going to be our bullish area. So if we get a pullback into this zone, we might look for a buy trade here all the way up to this area. Also, look at where we're at on RSI. I doubt you're going to get a lot of buying pressure, so this pullback could go pretty deep. Could be a pretty deep one. And if we throw our Fibonacci retracement tool on that impulse leg, we could get a pullback all the way down to this area. So don't get too impatient here. Some of you, like me, I look for this pullback and trade this pullback. It's a lot riskier trade, so make sure you're doing proper money management when you're predicting the market like this. But if you get a pretty good deep pullback and you see a turnaround at one of these levels, you could get very bullish here. Boom. And I'll show you what that looks like. That's a lot less riskier of a trade, and you have a higher probability if you wait that long for it, which, judging by the week we have coming up, might not be a bad idea. All right. Another drink. Euro, Canadian dollar. All right. So we had this upward trend. We had this bearish break of that trend, and now we've just been testing it. So I like this pair bearish right now as it retested this trend line, and I'm not bullish again till this level. So this is a good pair to catch on this bearish move, and what that would look like would be whew. So I'm turning this one red because right here on the open would be a good play for that kind of a move. Now we have to be careful, because if we bust back up above this line, this was a false breakout, and you made a big mistake, and hopefully you had a tight stop loss and you get out quick. But I like this pair. I don't think there's a lot of euro buying pressure, and I think there's a lot more euro selling pressure this week, or we might just get this consolidation between these two areas for quite some time. Either way, this sell trade from at the top here, not a bad play. Don't know if you're going to get it all the way back down to this level, but if you sold here and got halfway, you could take half your position off, take some money off the table, take some risk off the table, and leave it on the table. So New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Man, so we've got this big push. Last week in one of my ideas, I'm targeting this area as a good turnaround. If we zoom in here, you can see price got really close, started to retract, and I'm looking for a bounce. I'm looking for a bounce to one of these fib levels, and then I'm going to get bullish there, at least. So I'm looking for price to pull back here soon. I think it's going to be a fairly decent deep pullback. I mean, if it gets back to this 0.38, I'll still be bullish there. I might even get very bearish here and take this sell trade and wait for it and take profit here and then take this profit. Mostly because I don't bet against the US dollar for too long, and it's been kind of devaluing quite some time. I think we're going to get some really positive trade news with China, and you're going to see this thing, the dollar, come back in a rip-roaring fashion, and just in time for the beginning of next year. It's a really good sell trade right now. RSI, it's overbought, pretty drastic. But if you want a safer trade, you wait for this pullback to happen, wait for a smaller time frame on a Fibonacci retracement level, and then you've got to get bullish again, or you could get trapped into another big sell on this pair. But I'm green on this one. I'm going to make it red because I want to watch it on the open. Let's look at US dollar, Canadian dollar. So on the daily here, we have a really good resistance level. We're starting to see this downward trend. We're right at a good spot for support. You zoom in here, sorry. so you guys could see that. We're at a good spot for support from that long thing here. We've broke it. So now we want to see what price is going to do here. This would be where we get bearish or bullish. Price almost got there. And I bet you if we go to a smaller time frame, it will look like a smaller retracement of this pull. Yes, it does. You can see we're oversold on 5 or more time frames. My guess is we're going to get another double bottom situation, possibly another pulse down into this bullish zone, and then we're going to get bullish on this pair down in this region. So we got divergence telling us a turn's coming. So we'll just have to see what we get. If we get a push down into this bullish area, I'm going to get bullish on that pair and look for a good turnaround where it has turned before. And, you know, I'm not bearish until possibly all the way up to this area. But that might just be my take profit. If I get bullish here, good take profit. But we are in this kind of downward trend here. So we may just get a good indication if price going to continue to be bearish at this level and it breaks. We have a pretty good, if we jump up to the weekly chart, pretty good level, and we have a lot of room for it to come down. I mean, we were this low August 2012. A better target for a low of this pair is the 1.24 area, which we were there last October 2017. We've kind of haven't been able to break the level we're at now since all of last year. So we're kind of at a really big spot. See what this pair is going to do for the year here. So I'm bullish here, and I'm going to look for a good turn and see what 2020 gives us. If we're going to get all the way back up to this level, it'd be a really good trade. US dollar, I'm going to turn that one red. US dollar Swiss franc, again, here's a really predominant support level. You can see I took a trade on this, and boom, was wrong, and I removed my stop loss because I see this level coming up, and of course it's a small enough position size. I now have a little bit of a project to work on, meaning I'm in a bad trade, and now I want to trade my way out of that bad trade, and I'm not necessarily bearish till up here. So price shot all the way down. Now it's starting to show signs of support here, and I'm going to probably sit on my hands next week, take the drawdown, take the pain, just keep my eye, make sure we don't break this level. But if we get deep into this level, I may take a rollover trade from here and look for a small enough retracement that gets me out of both trades with possibly a little bit of money, hopefully. So this one I'm leaving green because I'm in a trade. Australian dollar JP or US dollar JPY. Again, the dollar weakness has shown pretty strong on every pair. However, on the US dollar JPY, price just isn't showing that big of weakness. So I'm looking for price. It just keeps flirting with this bearish area. I'm looking for the strength of the JPY to come back here very shortly because of this dollar weakness, and we're going to get a good pull back down, possibly to this bullish zone. We might get a good break of this zone if the dollar just keeps getting weaker, and the people run to safe haven currencies like JPY. Could get a good break back down to these levels. Price is sitting right now tested our bearish zone and is on its way back down. So a good thing to watch here on the open this week is this level we're sitting at now. If we get a break of these lows, it's highly probable we're going to come all the way back down to this level. So because I'm in some sell trades on my auto copy, if we get a break of this, I'm going to put in a rollover trade and try to catch this move all the way down and cut a few of those Wally trades out of the portfolio with either break even or some profit. Let's just look at the US Mexican peso. This isn't a pair that I trade all the time. Actually, I don't trade it much at all anymore, but I get a lot of questions and comments about it. We've been looking for a retest of this, and on last week's dollar weakness, you could see blew past our bullish zone. Now we're kind of really getting close to this support level that we've had for quite some time. So let me zoom in. Let me just go to a higher time frame, like the monthly. And, you know, let's go to the weekly. Let's take this bad boy so we can kind of see it as a very big bullish zone. But I'm not bearish till a retest of this. So now you can kind of see how much room we got here. Jeez. How much room we got here. But, man, what is price going to do at this shelf? If we get a break of it, you could have a pretty good sell trade in the first part of the year here if we get a break of this. I mean, we broke this trend line. That was a good place to get bearish long term. Like I said, this pair's high spreads, very high volatility on it, but we're starting to get to this bullish zone, and if price breaks it could go all the way down to Hades. But if we get a good bounce here, you got a lot of upside as well. Let me get this a little more zoomed in there. So, those of you that trade this pair, you're probably getting really excited. If you're a bear, and you bulls are targeting this area as, hey, I think the U.S. dollar's taken enough beating, and the Mexican economy is kind of contingent on the U.S. economy, so we're gonna get a good bounce here. All right, well, that concludes today's Sunday setups. And, I want to be clear, don't feel like you have to trade this week. There's some good setups here. There is. But price tends to not be very technically obedient during the holidays, mostly because there's a lot of banks closed. There's a lot of retail traders taking the week off, and not that retail traders push the markets, but there's just not a lot of volume happening. And when we do have fundamental news come out, it tends to move price very hard, very fast, and you could get easily caught into some trades that are going to be really hard to work out at the first part of the year. So if you do trade this week, be really cautious. Set some tight stop losses. Historically for me, this time of year doesn't do well for my balance. And the years that I try to trade hard in December, I usually end up with some long projects that take me a while to work out in 2020. So, thank you for watching the channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe. If you haven't already, jump onto my Trading View and follow me there, where I post smaller, shorter videos when we get closer to taking trades, and post those on my Telegram channels. I have a free one where we take 2 to 3 trades a week. Probably not this week, but on a normal week we take 2 or 3 trades, swing style trades in the beginning of the week, and if those move to profit, then I move over and continue to trade on my paid signal service. And those customers get all of my discretionary trades that I take in real time. And then I also have an auto copy service where if you necessarily are in the beginning and you have a little bit larger balance and you just want someone to put that MT4 account on their server and just copy my trades automatically, and you just watch on an app on your phone, that's what that service is for. And it's a little bit more designed for people that want to just watch someone trade for a while and not have to worry about waking up in the middle of the night and putting trades in manually. All right. Well, hopefully you have a great holiday season. And I'm writing my goals for 2020 right now, and you should be too. All right. Have a great Sunday and a great trading week.